unforgiving Himalayas.
As temperatures drop to -5 degrees Celsius, the Yeti presses on, unaware of the storm brewing ahead.
The Yeti feels the first chill bite, his ancient instincts kicking in for survival. Scaling frozen heights, the Yeti seeks higher ground, but the weather turns hostile. The Yeti stands alone in the endless snowfields as the sky darkens with impending doom. With a keen sense, the Yeti detects the storm's fury closing in at -5 degrees Celsius. Undeterred, the Yeti marches into the blizzard, his survival saga unfolding. Each step the Yeti takes leaves a mark of resilience in the frozen tundra.
At -5 degrees Celsius, the Yeti battles the wind's icy grip, pushing his limits.
Seeking brief refuge, the Yeti huddles against the rock, but the storm intensifies.
The Yeti treads carefully, knowing one wrong move could end his survival quest. Desperately, the Yeti searches for dry fuel, but the cold claims everything. The Yeti breaks through thin ice, quenching his thirst in the sub-zero chill.
Hunger stirs as the Yeti tracks elusive prey in the -5 degrees Celsius wilderness. The storm escalates, testing the Yeti's endurance like never before. In the face of nature's wrath, the Yeti remains a beacon of primal strength. Attempting a quick burrow, the Yeti fights the relentless snowdrift. With a mucky bellow, the Yeti challenges the blizzard's dominance. Camouflaged by the storm, the Yeti becomes one with the frozen landscape. Pushing through barriers, the Yeti exemplifies raw survival power.
Barely sustaining himself, the Yeti forages for minimal nourishment at -5 degrees Celsius.
Trapped in the valley's embrace, the Yeti faces the full blizzard assault.
Resourceful, the Yeti gathers natural materials to combat the creeping cold.
Determination etched in his gaze, the Yeti presses onward through the gale. Even legends tire, but the Yeti refuses to yield to exhaustion. Drawn by survival needs, the Yeti seeks the frozen waters ahead. As night falls, the Yeti braces for darker, colder trials. At -5 degrees Celsius, the Yeti's body fights the hypothermia's silent threat. Hidden perils lurk beneath, challenging the Yeti's every move.
Venturing into the woods, the Yeti hopes for shelter from the storm.
Ingenious, the Yeti turns the enemy, snow, into a life-sustaining resource. Curiosity drives the Yeti to explore potential food sources. From the heights, the Yeti surveys his frozen domain. Adapting swiftly, the Yeti turns the terrain into an ally. Each exhale, a reminder of the -5 degrees Celsius brutality the Yeti endures. A brief respite allows the Yeti to gather his waning strength. Wise to the wilderness, the Yeti leaves signs to avoid getting lost. Nature's warnings spur the Yeti into urgent action. Shedding the weight of the storm, the Yeti lightens his load. Nearing icy waters, the Yeti prepares for his next survival test. Cautious, the Yeti assesses risks before venturing onto the frozen expanse. Whiteout conditions envelop the Yeti, blurring his path. Tools from nature aid the Yeti in navigating treacherous grounds. Hope flickers as the Yeti glimpses potential sustenance below. The storm's fury peaks, but the Yeti stands firm. Amid chaos, the Yeti's form dances with the elements.
Strategic pacing helps the Yeti preserve vital warmth.
Nature's gift, the Yeti's coat battles the mightest 5 degrees Celsius onslaught. In isolation, the Yeti draws inner strength for survival.
At the brink, the Yeti gears up for the hunt in blizzard hell. Dropping to Megad's 10 degrees Celsius, the Yeti starts his desperate fish hunt. With raw power, the Yeti pierces the ice barrier for survival. Eyes locked on prey, the Yeti waits patiently in the cold. Prone and vulnerable, the Yeti risks the freeze for a meal. Success at last, the Yeti grabs a meager fish from the depths. Barely eating, the Yeti consumes his catch in Micah's 10 degrees Celsius misery. Elusive bounty, the Yeti fights the refreezing ice for more.
Relentless, the Yeti relocates in search of better hunting grounds.
Icy remnants cling as the Yeti endures the hunt's toll. Missed opportunities test the Yeti's resolve in the storm.
Simple tactics help the Yeti combat the numbing negative 10 degrees Celsius.
Isolated on ice, the Yeti embodies solitary survival.
Scant rewards, the Yeti rations his hard-won food. Danger looms. Wisdom prevails. The Yeti avoids perilous breaks. Hunger gnaws deeply at the Yeti in this frozen ordeal. Improvising tools, the Yeti expands his hunting access. A better haul boosts the Yeti's fading spirits. Minimal sustenance keeps the Yeti alive, just barely. Blizzard intensifies, hampering the Yeti's vital hunt. Mirrored in ice, the Yeti's struggle reflects eternal resilience. Resting strategically, the Yeti battles exhaustion's creep. Opportunity strikes. The Yeti prepares for a frenzy. A rare bounty. The Yeti seizes the moment. Forward thinking. The Yeti caches food for later crises. As darkness descends, the Yeti must seek shelter soon.
With provisions secured, the Yeti heads toward refuge.
The cold penetrates deeper, challenging the Yeti's core. Eyes peeled, the Yeti searches for a snowy haven. Laboring through fatigue, the Yeti begins cave construction. Digging deep, the Yeti crafts his survival shelter. Effort pours out as the Yeti builds against the night. Cautious entry, the Yeti ensures his refuge is sound. Sealing in warmth, the Yeti fortifies his cave. In the snow cave's embrace, the Yeti seeks rest. Barely eating, the Yeti sustains in his frozen abode. Winds rage beyond, but the Yeti finds temporary peace.
Memories fuel the Yeti through the cold night's vigil.
Settling in, the Yeti adapts to his makeshift home. Dawn breaks, rousing the Yeti for another day.
Refreshed somewhat, the Yeti faces the aftermath.
Surveying the landscape, the Yeti plans his next moves. Hunger returns. The Yeti resumes his icy pursuit. Unyielding, the Yeti hunts again in Mygated's 10 degrees Celsius depths. Diminishing returns test the Yeti's patience. The storm lingers, shadowing the Yeti's efforts. Movement generates heat for the Yeti in the freeze. Steel-willed, the Yeti vows to outlast the cold. Supplementing fish, the Yeti forages what he can. Preparing for night, the Yeti strengthens his sanctuary.
Enhancing shelter, the Yeti adapts to prolonged Mygatist 5 degrees Celsius nights.
Barely nourished, the Yeti conserves for uncertain tomorrows. Rest eludes fully, but the Yeti recharges in his burrow. Emerging stronger, the Yeti confronts another stormy day. Routine sets in. The Yeti returns to hunt essentials. Defying the drop to Mygat's 10 degrees Celsius, the Yeti resumes fishing. Precision pays off for the Yeti in his survival game. Portion control. The Yeti masters sparse eating. Quick reflexes save the Yeti from watery peril. Storm wanes briefly, giving the Yeti a glimmer of hope. Maintenance mode. The Yeti fortifies against relapse. Innovative, the Yeti softens his frozen meal.
Moments of reflection bolster the Yeti's spirit.
Luck turns. The Yeti secures a double haul. Vital fuel revives the Yeti in the cold grip.
Stockpiling wisely, the Yeti plans for endurance. Sealing every gap, the Yeti perfects his refuge. Adaptation wins. The Yeti finds peace in chaos.
Renewed, the Yeti greets the frozen dawn.
Diversifying diet, the Yeti supplements his fish. Barely palatable, but the Yeti persists. Cycle continues. The Yeti braves -5 degrees Celsius again.
Evolving tactics aid the Yeti in precision hunting.
Triumph echoes as the Yeti claims his prize.
Moderation key. The Yeti sustains without excess. Hope rises as the Yeti senses the end nearing. Final touches. The Yeti prepares for last nights. In his snow cave, the Yeti reflects on victories.
Visions of relief comfort the Yeti through cold.
Storm subsides, rewarding the Yeti's tenacity. Final feast. The Yeti secures his endurance meal. No longer barely, the Yeti replenishes strength. Victory dawns as the Yeti steps into light. Survivor supreme, the Yeti conquers the blizzard. Lessons learned, the Yeti moves to new horizons. Undefeated, the Yeti embodies wilderness mastery. Farewell to refuge. The Yeti leaves his sanctuary. Ascending beyond, the Yeti escapes the freeze.
Legend endures. The Yeti's tale of survival inspires.
Transition nears as the Yeti spots warmer signs. Shedding the past, the Yeti embraces renewal. From Micah's 10 degrees Celsius hell, the Yeti emerges victorious.
A triumphant cry marks the Yeti's conquest.
Warmth returns, healing the Yeti's weary form.
Abundance awaits. The Yeti thrives post-storm. Wisdom gained. The Yeti carries survival scars. Atop the world, the Yeti stands eternal. Mystery lingers as the Yeti vanishes into legend.
The Yeti's survival story echoes in the silence.